stop. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place.
That's President Trump yesterday talking about the terror attack in New York City. Arlette Saenz joins us, ABC News correspondent at the White House. Good morning, Arlette.
Good morning, McGraw.
All right, so a lot of talk about this diversity visa program. What is it, and is it working or is it not working? What's going on here?
So the diversity visa lottery program gives about 50,000 visas to people from countries that have low rates of immigration to the U.S. And actually, a few years ago, the bipartisan Gang of Eight is what they were called when they were working on immigration reform. They were trying to get rid of this program and replace it with a merit-based system. That bill ended up passing from the Senate, but it was never taken up for a vote in the House. And President Trump wants Congress to go ahead and get rid of that program, and we'll see in the coming months whether there's any appetite to actually do that. But bottom line is this would be changes to immigration, and Congress hasn't been able to pass any major immigration reform in several years. It
sounds like, and President Trump alludes to, that they just sort of throw the visas up in the air, and if it lands on your lucky number, you get to come in. Is it as simple as that?
Well, it's based on countries that have low rates of immigration here to the U.S. and people can apply for those visas, and there's a certain number that go out. And we know that the New York City attacker used this visa program to get into the country back in 2010, and so that's why he kind of wants to take aim at it and curtail it right now.
Right, but I understand it was a lottery system, and his number came up, and so he got to come. But was there any vetting on him before he was allowed to come into the country?
There is some vetting that goes through. I don't know the extent of the vetting with these programs, but these people, as all immigrants that come here, do have to go through some procedural process that they get checked out.
Yeah. When President Trump said it was Chuck Schumer's fault, that's not necessarily true because, as you say, it's the Gang of Eight, which was a bipartisan Republicans and Democrats.
That's right. The president called it a Chuck Schumer beauty because Chuck Schumer supported it and was pushing for this back in the early 90s. The president failed to note that this was actually signed into law by a Republican president, George H.W. Bush, and Chuck Schumer was one of the members of the Gang of Eight who was trying to get rid of it. The White House says that this wasn't a political attack against Senator Schumer, but when you attach the name of a New York senator where this attack took place, when you attach that name and that's the person that you decide to single out, it's hard to see how it's not a little bit personal.
Yeah, I don't know if it's personal. I don't know if it's political. It just sounds like it was incorrect.
That's right, because Chuck Schumer was in the Gang of Eight who was trying to get rid of this program and replace it with something else. And who knows? I mean, Chuck Schumer may have been somebody who would have maybe wanted to work with the president on something like this, but now the president went out there and said something that wasn't exactly true. Is this diversity lottery system still in effect today? It is still in place now, and the president's pushing for Congress to do something about it. There hasn't been any particular call in the past day or kind of clue that they're going to pursue this. They have a packed agenda already with tax reform and government funding coming up, but this could be something that they examine going forward. But as I mentioned, immigration reform is a very touchy issue on Capitol Hill, and they haven't been able to pass anything in quite some time. And this guy came in 2010. That's right, in 2010. Yeah. Arlette Saenz, ABC News correspondent at the White House. Thanks.